Good morning, beloveds. Foster is being extra clingy today, so we will try and read around him. So chapter 10 is the chapter on faith, and it's exactly 8 pages, which is too long to read the whole thing. So we will be doing part 1 and part 2. I mean, I could read the whole thing, and if it was Saturday, I probably would, but it's not Saturday, it's Friday. And I get to go to work today, so we're going to do half of chapter 10, which is probably a good thing, because apparently I can't keep the commenting to myself. So, all right, let's see if Foster will cooperate with me. It'd be nice if I could get him to look at the camera, because he's got such beautiful green eyes. But no. Right, baby? Yeah. I don't know. They've been extra clingy since the weather last Thursday. So, all right, we are on chapter 10. Our title is Faith, and our first section is the mental approach. The universe is a spiritual system. Its laws are those of intelligence. We approach it through the mind, which enables us to know, will, and act. Prayer, faith, and belief are closely related to mental attitudes. Or closely related mental attitudes. I guess they're mental attitudes. Prayer is a mental approach to reality. It's not the symbol, but the idea symbolized that makes prayer effective. Some prayers are more effective than others. Some only help us to endure, while others transcend conditions and demonstrate an invisible law which has power over the visible. Insofar as our prayer is affirmative, it is creative of the desired results. All right, I'm kind of hoping he explains that a little bit more. Some prayers only help us endure. But, and somewhere in here, he should explain why, because affirmative prayer is positive prayer. It's stated in the present tense, and I don't know that he's explained that yet, but when we teach it, we do explain that. So, all right. Always a power is the next section. Faith has been recognized as a power throughout the ages, whether it be faith in God, faith in one's fellow person, in oneself, or in what one is doing. The idea that faith has only to do with our religious experience is a mistake. Faith is a faculty of the mind that finds its highest expression in the religious attitude, but always the person who has faith in their own ability accomplishes far more than the one who has no confidence in themselves. Those who have great faith have great power. Why is it that one person's prayers are answered while another's remain unanswered? It cannot be that God desires more good for one person than another. It must be that all persons in their approach to reality receive results, not because of what they believe in, but because of their belief. Faith is an affirmative mental approach to reality. There's a math equation that I was about to say, and then it popped right out of my head. Something plus equals faith. It's something plus belief equals faith. No. I think I have it wrong. I'm going to have to go look that up. Okay, you know what? Let me let that go. All right. It's thought wrapped in feeling equals belief. There it is. Which is not faith. But faith, I like the idea of faith being a mental attitude. All right, moving on. Misplaced faith is the next section. Someone has said that the entire world is suffering from one big fear, the fear that God will not answer our prayers. Let us analyze the fears which possess us and see if this is true. The fear of lack is nothing more than the belief that God does not and will not supply us with whatever we need. The fear of death is the fear that the promises of eternal life may not be true. The fear of loss of health, loss of friends, loss of property, all arise from the belief that God is not all that we claim. Omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. But what is fear? Nothing more nor less than the negative use of faith. Faith misplaced. A belief in two powers instead of one. A belief that there can be a power opposed to God whose influence and ability may bring us evil. In other words, to correct all the evils of the world would be to have the positive faith. Faith, rightly placed, a faith that lays a hold of the integrity of the universe, the beneficence of God, and the unity of all life. Nevertheless, we cannot have faith in that which we do not have some measure, that we do not in some measure understand. Sometimes Ernest makes me crazy. All right. It's interesting when you look at what he's talking about. He's talking about misplaced faith. And there are a whole lot of people who believe in the devil as a power equal to God. That is misplaced faith. The devil is not a power equal to God. The devil doesn't actually exist, but is a misuse of the power of good. So Science of Mind doesn't say that evil doesn't exist. What Science of Mind says is evil is not a power in and of itself. What we say is that evil is the misuse of a power. Okay? The only power that exists, which we believe is the power of good. We do not believe that evil is a power in and of itself. We do believe that it exists because we've seen it, but what we say about it is it's a misuse of power. So the easiest way to cure evil is to stop misusing the power. All right. So that's what he's talking about with misplaced faith. All right. There is not a power of evil. It's not that evil doesn't exist, but it is not a power in and of itself. Okay. It is a misuse of. All right. Moving on to understanding faith. We wish a faith based on the knowledge that there is nothing to fear. Okay. Because we're talking about fear. There's a terrible Will Smith movie, and I never remember the name of the movie. But in the movie, he turns to his son and he says, the danger, make no mistake, the danger is real. Fear is a choice. Okay? Fear is a choice. So we're not saying the danger isn't real. We are saying fear is a choice. And when we make choices out of fear, we mostly make wrong choices. So when you are in a dangerous situation, do not make choices out of fear. I say that like it's easy, and I understand that. But, you do have to make choices in dangerous situations. Don't make them out of fear. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying it like it's easy, and I understand it's not. But that's what we have. And that's what he's talking about. Don't make choices out of fear. All right, back to the section, understanding faith. We wish a faith based on the knowledge that there is nothing to fear. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I believe that's a quote from the Bible. It is definitely a quote. Where it comes from, Ernest is really bad at giving credit. The thought of faith molds the undifferentiated substance and brings into manifestation the thing which was fashioned in the mind. This is how faith brings our desires to pass. When we use our creative imagination in strong faith, it will create for us out of the one substance whatever we have formed in thought. In this way, people become a co-creator with God. There will never be an end to any of the eternal verities like truth, love, beauty. There will never be an end to God, nor to any of the attributes which are co-eternal and coexistent with God. If we are wise, we shall cultivate a faith in these realities. This is not a difficult task, but a thrilling experience. Ernest has an interesting idea of what thrilling is, doesn't he? Spiritual substance is all around us, waiting to be formed. Thus, we see what Jesus meant when he said, "And I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given unto you." The law must work in compliance with our demand. The divine urge within us is God's way of letting us know that we should push forward and take that which is awaiting our demand. If the good were not already ours in the invisible supply, it would be impossible for us to procure it in any manner. They that openeth their hand and satisfieth the desire of every living creature. Bible quote, I'm quite sure. All right. I was about to say something. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. There's a Terry Pratchett quote in The Hogfather. And Death is talking to Susan, because in Terry Pratchett, Death is an anthropomorphic, has a conversation. And Susan is his granddaughter, which is why he's talking to her. Complicated story, not going to get into it. But there is a point where he's talking about the big lies and the little lies. Why we teach children to believe in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny. Because they have to, his argument is that you have to believe in the little lies so that you can believe in the big lies, okay? Which is what Ernest is talking about, truth, beauty, and love. He said, grind the universe. Death says, grind the universe. Okay, Death through Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett through Death says, grind the universe to its, atoms. Its molecules down to the atoms. And you will not find one molecule of truth, one molecule of beauty, one molecule of love. So, and she goes, oh, I get it. For the world to be just, we have to believe in these things, even though there's no evidence of them. There's no concrete evidence. And so that which feeds back into faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Okay, that could be Emerson, not the Bible. I bet it's Emerson. I'm going to have to look it up. And so that's what we're talking about. It's like, okay, so we have these things and there's no concrete, there's nothing we can lay our hands on and say, this is it. And yet we're asked to have faith in them. Truth, justice, love, beauty, That's what faith is. That's what faith is. All right. We got 2 sections left and then we're going to wrap it up for the day. So we are on no confusion. History has recorded many instances of healing through faith. This is an undisputed fact. Yet we cannot believe in a divine power that responds more quickly to one than another. We are compelled to see that prayer is not an end of itself. It is a means to an end. Like the practice of the science of mind, it is a way. The principle governing faith is that when the one praying becomes convinced their prayer will automatically be answered. Wait, hang on. Let me try that sentence again. The principle governing faith is that when the one praying becomes convinced their prayer will automatically be answered. That sentence, Ernest and his punctuation is a little weird. All right. Jesus announced the law of mind, saying, "It is done unto you as you believe." The universe exists by its own self-pronouncement, by its own affirmation. It only knows I am. It knows nothing else. Therefore, Whenever prayer in faith touches reality, prays aright, prays according to the truth, then prayer must be answered. Ugh. All right, Ernest. I also, in that last section, I forgot to say this. That's the first time Ernest mentioned co-creator. And in Science of Mind and in New Thought, we use co-creator a whole lot. It's a reminder to us that we are at choice in our life and that we get to co-create with God the experiences that we have. All right? All right, no confusion. And yet I was confused because punctuation, Ernest. Whoa! Okay. The principle governing faith is, that when the one praying becomes convinced, their prayer will automatically be answered. I think he left out another comma. So the principle governing faith is, when you are convinced it will be answered, it will be answered. Ernest, you're killing me. Oh, okay. He's making me work for it, which is good. That's the whole reason I'm doing this thing. All right. We're at last section for today, because I really need to wrap this up. Available to all. Persons familiar with biblical history hardly need a lesson about faith, for the 11th chapter of Hebrews is full of instances proving its sustaining power. Paul enumerates at length the experiences of Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Gideon, Samuel, and the prophets, and many more. Who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the power of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed mighty in power, turned to flight armies of aliens, women received their dead raised to life again. Our ancestors believed these records and embodied this living faith in their consciousness, thereby giving us a great legacy of faith. Whatever they did, they were able to do because they grasped an instinctive faith and marched boldly on with it. Since faith is a quality unconfined to age or station, it may be ours today as much as it has been any person's at any time. We are not going through a harder time today, a longer or darker night than has ever been experienced before. It only seems darker because we have lost faith, the beacon of light. If one will have faith in themselves, faith in their fellow people, in the universe, and in God, that faith will light the place in which they find themselves. And by the light of this faith, they will be able to see that all is good. And the light shed by this faith will light the way for others. We become conscious of darkness only when we are without faith, for faith is ever the light of our day, and the light on our way, making the way clearly visible to us, even when all others it may be, even when to all others it may be beset with obstacles and the ongoing rough. Oh my gosh, Ernest. All right, that's it. I'm not even going to comment on that section. I'm just going to say we're going to start tomorrow on page 159 with vitalizing faith. Ernest makes me crazy sometimes. I love him. And I'm grateful that Ernest said that we're open at the top, because what it means is that I get to read this and I get to believe about what I'm reading. I get to believe it, and you don't have to agree with me. Now I have been doing this for a very long time, and I'm not going to tell you how long. I will tell you that I did get my minister's license in 2017. So this is not my first rodeo. But every time you read it, it's like you learn something different. You deepen down, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this. And I'm going to go back in 10 years and watch these videos and go, what was I thinking? So, all right. So like I said, we'll pick up tomorrow with Vitalizing Faith in chapter 10. But I do need to get ready to go to work. So I'm just going to do a couple of housekeeping. I'm going to remind you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark, and I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I commend the social medias to you. It is an easy way that you can support the center by going to like, share, subscribe, follow, and comment. Please do all the things. If you want to know what's going on with the center, there's two ways to do it. Our website is up, creativelife.org. And then also, you can email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. All right. And now I'm going to encourage you, because I like to encourage you. It's a reminder to myself, too, to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a Friday, a wrap this week up day, a get ready to go to the park tomorrow, a call a friend day, a hug a fur baby day, I don't know what kind of day, a take it as it comes day, a thrilling day, a wrap your mind around it day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Or, as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right, beloveds. I'm going to remind you, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.